Her phone lit up again. She didn't even flinch this time, just tilted it slightly, thumb hovering like she was reading something important. Casual, practiced. We were sitting on those white wicker chairs her mom loves, under that stupid lemon tree that never grows lemons. Her dad was telling some story about high school track meets, and her mom was laughing too loud, like always. But I wasn't listening, not really. I was watching her thumb, the way she held the phone, tilted toward her leg, not facing me. I said, "Everything okay?" She looked up with that smile she saves for defusing bombs, soft, innocent, weaponized. "Seth, it's just work stuff. You're being paranoid again." Again. It stuck in my head like a burr. That word, she, used it last week too, when I asked why she started locking her phone, when she came home late from a strategy session and smelled like someone else's car. I used to believe her. For years I did. I was the guy who never checked her phone, never asked twice. I used to think that made me respectful. Turns out it just made me blind. She slipped the phone into her cardigan pocket and reached for the pitcher of iced tea. Poured half a glass, then topped mine off like nothing happened. That's the thing about her. She's careful with gestures. Keeps the outside spotless. But my hands were cold around the glass. I remember that. Sweating from the heat, but my fingers felt like stone. Later that night when we got home, she went straight to the shower. Said she needed to wash the day off. I nodded, didn't ask, didn't follow her. Instead, I walked to the hallway closet, pulled down the small gray lockbox where we kept the backup drive, the one tied to our security system. She never liked that we had cameras inside the house, said it made her feel watched. Funny that. I plugged the drive into my laptop and opened the folder marked kitchen. I'd forgotten they recorded audio. I swear I didn't even mean to catch her in anything. I just needed to see something, or hear something, anything that made sense. The files were named by timestamp. I clicked through a few at random, then stopped when I saw it. 2:17 a.m., 3 nights ago. The kitchen was dark except for the fridge light. She was packing barefoot, whispering. "I just need to be careful. He checks things now." Silence. Then, "No, I didn't delete it yet. I will." She paused, looked at something off camera, probably her phone. "I don't think he knows. He's just been quieter." My hands didn't shake. Not then. They just hovered over the pause button. I watched the rest of the clip like I was floating outside myself, like it was a movie. When it ended, I closed the laptop. Didn't cry, didn't scream. I just sat there. The house felt loud. The old pipes ticking, the fridge humming, her humming actually upstairs. She always sang when she washed her hair. I saved the clip, gave it a new name, 2M Proof. Then I slid the hard drive back into the lockbox, tucked it behind the old tax folders, closed the closet door. She came downstairs 20 minutes later wearing my t-shirt, kissed me on the cheek and asked if I wanted to watch something. I said sure. She smiled like nothing was broken, like we were still us. I smiled back. I didn't say a word. Not yet. She used to say we met because of a printer jam. Technically true. I was at Staples, frustrated, trying to print out resumes on some thick linen paper that kept jamming the tray. She stepped in, smiled, and told me I was feeding it backwards. That was it. No pickup lines. No sparks flying. Just a soft laugh and her sleeves rolled up to fix a machine she didn't even work for. She smelled like cinnamon gum. Wore this oversized gray hoodie with the sleeves pushed to her elbows and a tiny gold chain around her neck. I still remember the charm on it, half moon, half heart. We stood there talking about nothing for almost an hour. She was printing brochures for a candle business she ran out of her apartment, said she was manifesting a rebrand. I thought it was cute, a little airy but grounded in her own weird way. The first time I saw her apartment, it smelled like lavender and burnt wicks. She had handwritten affirmations taped to the mirror and a half-finished jigsaw puzzle on the coffee table. I thought, this woman slows the world down. We didn't jump into things, no whirlwind romance, just a slow, deliberate falling, mornings with black coffee, long walks after dinner, grocery lists on sticky notes. Life felt manageable with her, like she organized the chaos just by being there. She told me once, "You make me feel like I can breathe all the way out." I didn't realize that would become a weapon later. When we moved in together, I gave her full access to everything, shared bank accounts, passwords, even let her take over paying the bills. She said she was better with money. I didn't argue. I wanted her to feel secure, trusted. She had this way of making everything feel like a partnership, like we were building something real. She'd fold my laundry and leave those little dryer sheets tucked in the sleeves. She labeled the spice rack, set calendar reminders for our date nights. For a while it felt perfect. She called me her Sunday, said I was the only calm thing in her week, and I liked that. I liked being the one she rested with. I remember this one night. We were lying on the couch, half watching some awful dating show, and she looked at me and said, "I'm not like the women you've been with. I won't waste your time." I kissed her forehead, didn't say anything, just let it sit there. Looking back, I should have asked why she felt the need to say it. But at the time, it felt like truth, like she was telling me something sacred. We talked about marriage in a lazy, non-pressuring way, just someday things, where we'd live, how many kids. She wanted 2, maybe 3. Said she'd want a house with a porch swing, a dog named Max. I pictured it all too vividly. We even had a spot we called our future place. A cabin upstate we rented one summer. It had creaky wood floors, a stone fireplace, and deer that showed up like clockwork every morning at 6. She said it was the first place that felt like home. We talked about buying it one day, starting our life there for real. She painted it all so well, so convincingly. That's what hurts most in hindsight, the details, the effort she put into making it believable, not just to me, but to herself. Maybe she wanted to be that woman, the one who settles down, who builds something honest. Maybe, for a moment, she really meant it. But truth doesn't bend, and love doesn't need theater. Somewhere in that perfect little world we built, she started whispering in the kitchen at 2 a.m. And I started noticing. I didn't know it yet, but the quiet was starting to crack. The laugh would be the first thing to change. It started with her laugh. That might sound small, but I swear, when you've heard someone laugh in their sleep, you know the real version. And this wasn't it. Hers used to be unfiltered, low and warm, the kind that made other people turn to look. That laugh was mine. But one night she was on the phone in the other room, and I heard it, sharper, higher, like a copy of herself she'd made for someone else. She hung up fast when I walked in. "Client call," she said, tapping her screen like she was too busy to talk. "The new guy Tyler's a mess." Tyler again. Same name I saw saved under Tyler Work a week earlier. The one whose texts she deleted right after they came in. She didn't know I noticed. I never said a word. I just watched. It's strange how quickly the ordinary turns suspicious. Like how she started carrying her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. Or how she stopped asking me to pick her up after work. She said she liked walking. Said it gave her thinking space. But one night I caught a whiff of something on her. Not the cinnamon lotion she always wore. This was different, light, expensive, floral. It clung to her scarf, the one I bought her last Christmas. I asked her where she'd been. She looked confused for half a second too long. "Just grabbed coffee with Danny," she said, brushing past me. "You're overthinking again, babe." That phrase, "you're overthinking again," it landed like a stone every time. She'd say it when I asked about changed passwords, when I asked why she moved my watch from the nightstand, when the laundry didn't smell like ours anymore. I wasn't looking for proof yet. I was looking for reason, something to hold on to. So I started writing things down, just to track them, dates, times, what she said, what she wore, if she hugged me or not. I didn't trust my memory anymore. She had this way of rewriting moments with a smile. "You're remembering it wrong," she'd say. "That's not how it happened." So I made it undeniable, pen on paper. She found the journal once, flipped through it, didn't say a word, just left it open on the bed like it was my confession, not hers. That night she cried, said I was spiraling, that my paranoia was suffocating her, said I was making her feel like she was walking on eggshells. I almost apologized. I almost told her I'd stop. But then I remembered how she changed her phone password the same day I got a promotion, how she smiled when I told her, and then went quiet the rest of the night. The shift wasn't sudden, that's what made it worse. It was slow erosion, little pieces falling out of place, her perfume changing, her laughter morphing, her silence getting louder. The way she said my name even felt different, like it didn't fit in her mouth anymore. We were lying in bed one night, backs to each other. I said, "Do you still feel like I'm your Sunday?" She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, "I don't know what I feel." And that was honest, probably the first real thing she'd said in weeks. I wanted to ask who he was, if he made her laugh like that, if she wore that perfume for him, if she talked about our future place, the cabin, with him. But I didn't, because I already knew. I knew from the way she looked away when I walked in, the way her phone was always at 2% even though she had chargers in every room, the way she wore new earrings to run errands. It was all small, nothing concrete. But the body knows before the mind does, and my body was bracing for impact. I stopped asking questions, not because I believed her, but because I needed her to think I did. Something was coming. I didn't know what yet, but the ground had shifted. The laugh was just the beginning. And the worst part, she still kissed me goodnight, like nothing was broken. Tuesday I came home early. No reason, just something told me to. Maybe it was the way she'd paused when I asked if she'd be home late again. Maybe it was nothing. But I left work an hour early, told my team I had a headache. That part wasn't a lie. The lights were off when I walked in. Curtains pulled. No music playing, no TV. Just the low hum of the fridge and the faint scent of her perfume in the air, floral again, that same one I'd never bought her. I saw her phone on the kitchen counter, unlocked, screen facing up. I froze. She never leaves it unlocked, never. It was like the universe left a door open, just long enough for me to peek through. I wasn't even looking for anything. Not really. Just opened the Messages app out of instinct, out of muscle memory. My thumb shook a little when I typed Tyler. There he was. Not Tyler Work, just Tyler. No job title, no emoji, no alibi. And the messages, they weren't even careful. "I miss your hands. Same cabin next month. You wore me out last night, can't stop smiling." There was a photo, his shirt off, in our cabin, my cabin. Same mirror I installed, same toothbrush on the counter, same towels we picked out last fall. I stared at it so long, the screen dimmed. I didn't get angry, not right away, that came later. What I felt in that moment was more like nothing, like watching a movie of someone else's life fall apart, like I'd stepped out of myself and left the real me standing there, mouth dry, fingers ice cold. I clicked on the gallery. Her hidden folder wasn't even password protected. Photos of them at restaurants I'd never been to. A video of him driving her car. One where she was wearing the scarf I gave her, lips on his neck. I didn't recognize the woman in those clips, not her body language, not her smile. That wasn't the smile she gave me. Or maybe it was. Maybe he just had the full version. I only got pieces. I put the phone down, careful not to make a sound. A few minutes later, she walked in the front door like nothing was wrong. Shopping bags in her hands, car keys jingling. She smiled when she saw me. "Hey, you're home early." I nodded. "Yeah, left work a little early." She walked over, kissed my cheek. I didn't flinch, didn't lean in either. She set the bags down, pulled out a bottle of wine. "I got that Merlot you like." I nodded again. She tilted her head. "You okay?" "Same old," I said. I saw it, the flicker in her eyes. That half-second of calculation. She didn't know if I knew. That terrified her. "Good." We ate dinner like any other Tuesday. Pasta, garlic bread. She told me about a podcast episode she loved. I smiled, even laughed once, played the part. After she went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table in the dark, the dishes still in the sink, her wine glass with a faint smear of lipstick on the rim. I opened my laptop, pulled out the footage from the night she whispered in the kitchen. Watched it again. "I just need to be careful, he checks things now." She wasn't wrong. I spent the next hour saving everything. Screenshots, audio clips, the texts, her call log. I printed out my journal pages, highlighted the nights she said she was working late. I made copies, digital and physical. I didn't confront her, not then. What would have been the point? She would have denied. She was good at that. She would have turned it on me, said I violated her privacy, that I was obsessive, unstable, that I made her hide things. I'd seen that movie before. So I smiled, nodded, kept quiet. Let her think I was asleep when she texted him good night in the bathroom. Let her think I was healing when I stopped asking questions. Let her think I was blind. She didn't know I'd already seen everything. She didn't know I'd already left her in my mind. That night in bed, her leg brushed against mine under the blanket. She whispered, "I'm glad we're getting back to normal." I kept my eyes closed and thought about the photo, him in my cabin, using my towels, wearing my piece like it was his. No, not anymore. Something inside me clicked, quietly, finally. It was time to stop documenting. Time to start designing. I didn't rage, didn't scream, didn't throw things. That would have been too easy for her, something to point to later, something to twist into proof that I was the unstable one. No, I went still. Still is harder to read. She thought I was forgiving her, maybe. Thought I'd talked myself out of the things I saw, out of the voice memos, out of the photo of her on our porch leaning into him. She had no idea I was documenting everything. And she definitely didn't notice when I stopped reacting. She'd come home late, talking fast, eyes wide, saying she got pulled into back-to-back meetings or lost track of time. I'd nod, ask if she wanted tea. She'd smile, relieved, like she'd gotten away with something again. But I wasn't there anymore, not really. The man she betrayed, he died quietly, and the one who stayed, he started making moves. First thing I did was pull my money out of the joint account. Bit by bit, never enough to raise alarms. I told her I was investing more heavily. She laughed and said I'd better not lose it all. I smiled and said, "I won't." She didn't know about the cold wallet, about the crypto I'd tucked away years ago, back when she thought Bitcoin was a joke. She never asked about it. Our prenup didn't cover digital assets, something she once shrugged off with. We're not those people. No, we were not back then. I stopped using my personal email on the shared laptop, wiped it clean, created new accounts, changed all my passwords, quietly left family photos in a hidden Dropbox folder and deleted them from our cloud. I started packing mentally first, then slowly physically. A shirt missing here, a USB drive gone there. I rotated clothes so she wouldn't notice things leaving. I knew the house better than she did, knew how to make absence look like clutter. One Saturday while she was out getting her nails done, or at yoga, depending on which lie she was using. I went up into the attic and drilled a lockbox into the beams. Inside it, a copy of the footage, a binder of printouts, and a prepaid legal consult with dates and timestamps. I didn't plan to use any of it, but I wanted to know it was there. Insurance, in case she tried to burn me first. She started being affectionate again, making my coffee, rubbing my shoulders at night, buying me little things I never asked for, like novelty socks or those stupid affirmation cards. She thought she was repairing something. But I wasn't broken, just awake. She noticed I'd been quiet, asked if I was okay. I said, yeah, just trying to focus on work. She asked if I was still journaling. I said no need. She smiled like that was progress. I started going on more solo drives. She thought it was about clearing my head. I said I needed air. Truth was I was scouting. One drive led me back to the cabin. Our cabin, the one she defiled with him. I stood on the porch, staring at the chipped railing I once promised to fix. The woods were still. The air smelled like pine and memory. Inside, everything was exactly where we'd left it, because I'd made the bookings, because the title was still in my name. I cleaned the sheets, replaced the toothbrushes, took down the photo of us and left the frame empty. Then I set up the security cameras, ones she didn't know about, the kind that live stream and back up to encrypted storage. That night I emailed her a calendar invite for a weekend away. No context. She responded an hour later. The cabin, really? I replied, yeah, I thought it might help. She replied with a heart emoji. She had no idea I'd already been there, already seen the stain on the pillowcase that wasn't mine, already emptied out the drawers she thought were still full of our life. I wasn't trying to catch her again. I wasn't looking for fresh betrayal. I just wanted the scene of the crime to be clean for when I left it behind. Back home, she was humming again, that fake lightness she wore when she thought things were getting better. I helped her pack for the weekend. She held up 2 sweaters and asked which I liked more. I said the gray one. She smiled, said, that's the one I wore the first time we stayed there. I smiled back, I remember. But what I didn't say, what I couldn't say yet, was that I remembered everything. Every lie, every late night, every look at her phone when she thought I wasn't watching. And I wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. I wasn't planning to ruin her. I was planning to show her. Her family always did this big anniversary dinner. Every year, same house, same people. Her uncle grilled steak like it was a competition. Her aunt brought that awful fruit salad with mini marshmallows no one touched. There be toasts, laughter, polite clapping when her grandfather inevitably started singing. She wanted me there, of course, said it would mean a lot. I told her I wouldn't miss it. She thought that meant everything was back to normal. The week leading up to it, she was glowing. She baked cookies for her coworkers, played music while she cleaned, started talking about next summer like it was already ours. I listened, smiled in the right places. But I wasn't thinking about next summer. I was thinking about the flash drive sitting in my sock drawer. It had everything. The footage from 2:17 a.m., the screenshots of her texts, the photos from the cabin, him in the mirror, her on the bed with his hoodie, smiling like she hadn't already gutted me. I didn't need to confront her anymore. I didn't need to yell or accuse or demand anything. I just needed to let her show herself, to the people who thought she was still the woman who fixed paper jams and made candles. The night of the dinner, she wore that blue dress her sister gave her, the one with the open back and the little gold zipper. She asked me to zip her up. Her skin smelled like vanilla. Her eyes were soft again. You look happy, I said. She turned and kissed my cheek. We're good again, aren't we? I smiled. Yeah, we're good. The house was full when we got there. Kids running underfoot. Her dad already half drunk, holding court in the living room. She floated through it all, arm hooked through mine like we were some perfect love story that just survived a rough patch. She introduced me to her cousin's new girlfriend like I hadn't met her 3 times already. Her mom told me I looked tired. I said, been working a lot. Dinner was loud: steak, oversalted green beans, toasts to strong marriages and real love. Her uncle cracked some joke about locking the wives in the basement before they ran off with the neighbor. Everyone laughed. Even her. I waited until dessert. Waited until her dad brought out the cheap wine he saves for toasts, and everyone had their phones down. Then I stood. Before we toast, I said, I just want to show something real quick, 5 minutes tops. Her eyes flicked up, confused, curious. I held up the flash drive. Little anniversary montage I made, old photos, cabin memories, all that. The TV was already on for the slideshow her sister had planned later. I plugged the drive in, clicked the folder labeled Us. First few slides were sweet. Our engagement photo, a slow-mo video of her blowing out candles, the cabin porch in winter, a shot of her asleep with our dog curled beside her. She relaxed, smiled, squeezed my hand. Then came the receipts. Hotel check-ins. Messages from Tyler. I miss your hands. Next time, no underwear. Photos followed. Him in our cabin, her looking up at him, wearing the gray sweater she'd claimed was mine. The room shifted. Forks stopped moving, her sister gasped, her dad stood, her mom whispered something sharp and frantic. Then the video. Security footage, her in the kitchen whispering. I just need to be careful, he checks things now. No, I didn't delete it yet. He's been quieter. I let it play. No narration, no commentary, just the truth clear and steady. She didn't move. Didn't cry. Didn't run. Just sat there, rigid, hands in her lap, eyes locked on the screen like it was someone else's life unraveling in front of her. Her aunt started clearing plates like that would fix the air. Her dad muttered, "What the hell is this?" I pulled the flash drive out, slipped it into my pocket, looked at her one last time. Then I left. Didn't say goodbye, didn't wait for anyone to follow. Got in the car, closed the door, drove off slow. No screeching tires, no slammed doors, no rage. Just distance. Measured. Permanent. She called 30 minutes later. I let it ring. She texted, "What the hell did you just do?" Then, "Can we talk?" Then, "Please." I didn't answer. She'd spent months editing the version of herself I was allowed to see. All I did was hit play. 17 calls. All in a row. No voicemails, just her name lighting up my screen like some dying star. I didn't answer a single one. The texts started a few hours later, long ones at first, paragraphs begging for a chance to explain. She said I'd blindsided her, that I humiliated her in front of her family. Funny choice of words, not lied to, not betrayed, just humiliated. She made it about the audience, not the act. Then came the short texts. "Please. I miss you. You don't understand." Then nothing for a day. I half expected her to show up, to bang on my door or send one of her friends with a handwritten letter. That was her style, dramatic when cornered. But she didn't come. Maybe she didn't know how to anymore. That Sunday, I canceled the Netflix account. Our joint email was tied to it, and I didn't want the algorithm recommending shows we used to watch together. I deleted our Spotify playlists, removed my name from the lease, called the landlord and told him she'd be renewing solo. He asked if I needed a referral. I said no, I'm not staying in the past. She sent one last message the next day, just 2 lines. "You didn't even block me, that's cruel." I stared at it for a long time. She thought silence was cruelty. I thought it was mercy. I didn't block her, not out of spite. I wanted her to see the absence, to sit with it, to watch the read receipts and feel the weight of being unseen. She once called me her safe place. I guess she thought she could burn it down and still come back to sit in the ashes. She called me cold. I called it clarity. People asked where she went. Her cousin texted me once saying, "You really did that at the dinner." I never responded. Let them draw their own conclusions. I wasn't interested in winning anyone over. This wasn't about revenge. It was about release. A week passed, then two. The nights were strange at first, too quiet without her brushing her teeth in the other room or whispering something while half asleep. But then the quiet became clean, like fresh snow, like oxygen. I started sleeping better. A small thing, but it mattered. She tried sending money back into the account, $50 here, 100 there, like she thought that could rebuild something brick by brick. I closed the account. Some things aren't for rebuilding. I never told her what broke me. Not the text, not the photos, not even the cabin. It was the whisper in the kitchen. The way she spoke like I was already gone. Like I was an obstacle, not a partner. That's when I knew. She never wanted forgiveness. She just wanted to escape without consequence. But some exits cost more than silence. And I had finally made peace with the price. Every now and then, I still catch that scent. It hits at random, in an elevator, in a parking lot, once in a hotel lobby while I was checking in for a conference. That same light floral perfume, faint, expensive, and hollow. It used to ruin me. Now it just reminds me who I used to be. People think betrayal feels like being stabbed. Sudden, sharp. But for me, it felt like drowning with my eyes open, knowing I was underwater and still trying to breathe. I used to think love meant loyalty, that trust was something you gave fully or not at all. No halfway, no maybe. But she taught me that trust isn't taken, it's forfeited. Not all at once, bit by bit, through late-night whispers and carefully angled screens, through "I'm just tired and you're overthinking again." I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I just don't think about her much anymore. That might be the real victory, not the silence, not the family dinner, not even the footage. The victory is the nothing. No more checking her shadow in my bed. No more second-guessing my gut. No more shrinking myself just to be easy to love. She took the softest part of me and bent it until it didn't recognize itself. So I took the rest back. Quietly, completely. People ask sometimes if I've forgiven her. I tell them I didn't need to. Forgiveness requires energy, and she doesn't live anywhere near my energy anymore. I don't replay the conversations. I don't wonder what I missed. I don't imagine what could have been. Because I know what was. And that's enough. We all carry ghosts. I just stopped letting mine speak. She said I was cold. She was right. Sometimes peace looks like coldness to the person who lost access to you. But to me, it looks like walking out the door and never looking back. It looks like freedom. This is Revenge with Camden. If you've ever been betrayed by the person you trusted most, hit subscribe. You're not alone.